seen, Lee, on the defense improve the most these past couple games?
Well, there have been a lot of things that I've noticed during a game, and when you have a group of new guys, and you almost, like I always talked about, you don't know what you even don't know about them yet, and so through the course of a year, you'll see things pop up, and you're like, God, we're not really good at that. We've always been good at that, or we can get them a lot better at that. And part of it is, you assume that they know stuff because you've taught it consistently throughout the years, but it's not fair to those young guys. You look out there last year and you're like, well, Max knows what to do, and this guy knows what to do, and that guy, because we've done it for, year after year after year, but those freshmen had never done a lot of those things consistently where it was a habit. And so you're seeing a lot of the habits, so they don't have to think so much, and they can react quicker, and that's part of being a really good defensive team, is that you can all five move and anticipate each other's movement. And I harken back to like Max and Naj, that Naj knew Max so well and Max knew Naj so well that they covered for each other all the time because they had that history together, and then they had so many years together in this program, and that synergy was always visible. And you take it for granted and just assume, okay, well, that's always gonna be, but it's not fair to those new guys because they just hadn't developed a lot of those things. And so those days of practice that we were able to have during the bye, those are valuable, because this is a time of year where if you're practicing, have some time to practice other than, oh, we got a game tomorrow, we got to get ready, because you still have to do all that stuff. And, those ingredients are crucial to accomplishing the mission. But the development this time of year can be so important when you're playing a lot. And so that time was a gift for us to be able to get us a little bit better.
How much can that cohesion really carry you guys through the next 9 games of the regular season, and then however far you guys go in the postseason?
Well, just we don't look ahead. It's just the looking ahead right now is how can we keep scheduling our practice so we can keep making progress, and if we do, then you're going to get somewhere pretty good, because these guys are coachable, they are improving, and they are making progress, and so we have to keep capitalizing on that. But there's also my job is to be the chef of like finding the right amount of practice with the right amount of rest with the right amount of prep, and so that's always a challenge to do, because you want to get out there and do a lot of things, but you also gotta we're in February, and you can't. Tyson and Alvaro play consistent minutes throughout a long season, and you got to keep them fresh too. So there's a lot that goes into that, but we got another bye coming up too, but we're not looking ahead to that, obviously. Hopefully we can keep making the progress that we're making right now.
What did you learn about your rotation last week? What did you learn?
I felt more comfortable with it, no doubt. I felt more comfortable. But the thing that I've learned is I have to just kind of, it's not going to be like I'm settled in, and we have had some teams here that they could sub themselves in, and they often did, because they knew the time. Okay, this is when I sub in every game. Boom, this one I boom. I don't think we're ever going to get quite to that with this group, because different guys and different nights. I think the thing, to answer your question, the thing I learned the most is I have to really try to get a feel for what's working, but then you got to always factor in foul trouble and matchups and all those things. But I have to have such a feel, and all of us on the bench, of okay, who's really playing well. What are my eyes telling me on that night, so the box score can reflect that at the end of the night. Well, this guy's doing a great job, because sometimes you watch film and you're like, man, that guy played a lot better than I thought he did, because they do a lot of intangible things, or things that you might not notice until you watch the film. And you're like, God, or they might make one mistake that jumps out at you. You're like, God, that guy, what's he doing? And you look and he played every other minute. He played great. So I think that's what I learned, is to keep all of us, the assistants, me, and to keep looking at the right data, keep looking at the right matchups, keep looking at what's helping us the most and adjust minutes accordingly.
It seems like last week, the first half was almost an audition for the second half. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, and I think that's how I have to take it, you know, because it's hard. You're not winning college basketball games, let alone league games in the first half. I mean, too bad BJ's not here. He could attest to the rock chalk. I mean, if a team like Kansas is losing a lead like that, it can happen to anyone. Because last time I checked, Bill Self's a heck of a coach, and you know it's not that. It's just the way the game is now, and those can be a little bit of fool's gold.
Yeah.
Not always. I mean, you know, you're up that much for a reason, but it's just not the old days where those were automatic.
Leo, firstly, I went to KU, so if BJ's not there, you can use me.
There you go. Sorry to bring it up, but it was a great example of,
Yeah.
you know, it can happen to them, it can happen to anybody.
You know, we were just chatting to Tyson about the scoring record and how close he is to beers. And when you first arrived here as a freshman, obviously you knew he had talents, but did you ever imagine him being this close to a scoring record?
Well, maybe the scoring record, because that's a hard thing to anticipate. That's a lot of points and a lot of things to happen. But we had a plan for him, and the plan has went almost exactly like we talked about when we recruited him. It really has, and so that's when you feel great as a coach, is that this is, you know, this was the what we had envisioned for you, and because he's Tyson, it exceeded that what we showed him when we recruited him.
I guess what was the TLDR in that plan? What
The
was the plan that you gave him? What was your
Well, I remember when I recruited him, I told him the story about Adam Morrison. Adam, every single game he played in as a freshman, he scored double figures in except for one. And I said that, you know, I think you can have that kind of a freshman experience. And he kind of did, you know, once he got in that starting lineup. I mean, he averaged double figures, and when we put the numbers next to each other, it was pretty remarkable. And what he did. So, you know, that's how the plan started. And then, you know, then we talked about being an all-league player, being a player of the year candidate, all those kind of things. And that's, you know, like I said, it's a credit to Tyson, though. I mean, we had the vision for it, but ultimately it's on the player. And you know, he could have scored a lot more points if he was a little more selfish. And I don't say that in a bad way, because usually guys that score a lot have to be a little bit, they have to be willing to take bad shots. And that's the one thing Tyson, you know, if I could push him in a little more of that direction, but that's also a fine line, because his feel for the game and doing the right thing is what Tyson's always about, and that helps us a lot. But when a guy can score that much, you want him to be like, please take a bad shot once in a while, because the bad shots go in for good players, really good players.
Just that being said, you know, he says he's not paying attention to points per game, how many points he needs to break the records, but do you as a coach have to do anything, or heck, like you said, would you like him maybe taking a riskier shot down the stretch here and there?
Well, just for the good of the team, not individual records. Tyson's not about that, and you know, that's an old cliche, but it's true. I mean, those records don't mean anything if he had not won championships and won games and won, you know, had great moments like we've seen with him. So, and that's how he feels. That's how we all feel. And that's what makes our team good. We have a group of guys that all feel that way.
Seemed like against Vegas,
Two more?
it seemed like you did a great job on Thomas.
Yeah.
He had 10 points. So what was your reason for success in the matchup, and how do you get it again?
No, we started out that game so good, and you know, that first half we played against them here was we were clicking, and you know, but I thought our defense was pretty good that night, and you know, we made it. He's a guy that he's one of those, you're not gonna shut him out, you're not gonna stop him, you just gotta contain him and make it tough for him all night, and you know, that has to be probably the most important thing.
When you look at a team for the second time you play them, and you had success the first time, how much do you look at what worked last time, and how much do you say, you know, this is a different matchup, this is a different team right now?
You do both, but it's a different matchup, different team. You know, it's amazing how quickly stuff changes. You know, they left here and then they went to Colorado State, had a tough one, and they went home and had some great ones. And they've lost a couple recently, but they were right there. You know, they were one possession games, and you know, it's basketball. So they played some really good basketball, and Kevin did a great job of flipping that thing back around. And they're, you know, they've proven they're a team that can beat anybody on any night.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.